Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host. So, man, today's Friday. Just had a busy week. I did want to say something. As you probably all know, February's Black History Month, and we were in Greensboro the other day, and I was thinking about the Greensboro sit-in and the Greensboro 4, or the NCA&T 4. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, it started actually on February 1st, where 4 freshmen at North Carolina A&T University there in Greensboro went into the FW Woolworth store in downtown Greensboro, and they bought stuff, paid for it, got their receipts, and just, like personal sundries. But then what they did is they went to this lunch counter that was segregated, and they sat down and they each ordered a cup of coffee. And in so doing, started the sit-in. I shouldn't say started the sit-in movement, because some places there were sit-ins in other cities earlier, but really kind of popularized it, because this soon got media coverage and stuff like that, and they did sit-ins every single day for the next several months, and in so doing desegregated these lunch counters at stores like Woolworths and Walgreens all around the South. And and part of it was that, hey, you'll take our money for a can of shaving cream, but you won't let us eat here, or you make us sit in a separate area. And here's the interesting thing about this story, and I don't want to go too in depth, but the first 4 black people that were actually served, once the manager of the store decided he was just going to serve them, because he had taken a cut in pay because sales at his store had suffered because of these sit-ins. He got 4 black employees and actually served them. So he served his own black employees at a what had previously been a whites only lunch counter. And if you want to see that counter, and by the way, an interesting thing about that Woolworth store is it has since become the International Civil Rights Museum in Greensboro, North Carolina. But a portion of that counter is in the National Museum of African American History, and another portion of it is in the National Museum of American History, both at the Smithsonian. I have seen the display at the American History Museum. I don't know if it's on display yet at the African American History Museum. So anyway, that's how it got started. And so today is another anniversary of it, and because it started on February 1st and it went all the way through May of that year, which was 1960. So it was a huge deal. By the way, I'm going to turn some lights on here since I seem to be here in the dark. So wanted to discuss a couple of little things that might make a difference if you're a truck driver. And the first thing is how to get paid for your loads. And I've thought about this with the weather, how it's been, and how it's just been it's been pretty crazy this year, and how we're still in for more of it, I'm sure. But here's the thing. There's a saying that in order to win a race, you got to finish the race. You can't win unless you finish. And it's kind of true in this business. I don't care how well a load pays. I don't care how many cents per mile, dollars per mile it's going to pay. If you don't actually get it delivered, you're not getting paid for it. So I don't care what the timeline is on it. I don't care what the cargo is. I don't care what the line haul is or your percentage. If you end up in a ditch or a median or out in the woods with that load, I predict you will make $0 on that load. That's, now don't just take my word for it. I don't recommend you try it, but I'm pretty sure that if you don't get the load to where it's supposed to be in the condition it's supposed to be there, you're not going to get paid for it. Okay, that's the first thing. And another truism is, well, not a truism, but I often think about how people run their business or run on the road. And I have concluded that if your truck has a lot of lights, and when I say a lot of lights, I mean like 50, 60, 80 marker lights, and or you have a lot of lights that are different color other than amber and red like are prescribed. If you have a really loud exhaust system, if you drive really, really fast and think that other truckers are lesser human beings than you are as a trucker, you probably get paid more on these loads. I mean, otherwise, why would you do that? Like, why would you spend the money to have 850 lights on your truck and trailer if it didn't pay more? Why would you drive 85 miles an hour if it didn't pay more? I mean, it must pay more. So I'd like to figure out how to, monetize that and, put straight pipes on my truck and, do all that stuff. And I think if you have a shifter that's like this high, it also pays extra. I'm pretty sure it must, because else why would you want to have like the trucking version of ape hangers? So, but here's my point. Getting stuff done safely and economically and efficiently, that's the best way to do business. You can do business other ways, but they probably don't work. And so if you're in this for the long haul, no pun intended, you might want to consider that the next time you find yourself just furious because somebody's doing the posted speed limit and you want to go faster. It's not going to really change the outcome. But, well, it could change the outcome, but only in a bad way. But here's one more thought I want to just throw out there. And by the way, this kind of comes from one of my friends said something about the speed that Prime runs at. And there's this kind of belief, another Prime truck going by, I waved at him. There's kind of this belief that if you drive faster and you deliver sooner, that somehow, eventually you're going to save enough time to get, at least another load or two every year. So another, 2,000, 5,000 in revenue or whatever. And I kind of understand why that makes sense, except there's a lot of things that supposedly make sense that when you really drill down on them and you analyze them kind of correctly, they don't actually make sense. And so here's why driving faster doesn't really mean you're going to get more loads. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's really tough to prove, and I guarantee that nobody's keeping close enough track to know for certain that it made a difference. And here's why. In a few weeks, I'm going to go on home time. So let's say I drove like a bat out of hell until home time. Well, then I'm on home time, right? And when I'm ready to come off of home time, because I've talked about this, if I don't get a load immediately, and can immediately start driving like a bat out of hell, it's not going to matter. The clock ticks on. It doesn't matter if I drove like a bat out of hell in a segment if there's then a gap. The only way that we could really predict that might work because is that we never took a break. We constantly drove 365 days a year, and we never had to wait for a load. Because see, here's the thing. Let's say you drove like a bat out of hell and you were available, and then they offer you a load that pays 70 cents a mile going from, like Seattle to Maine. And you're like, I'm not taking that load. And it doesn't deliver for like a week and a half. Well, if you turn that load down and then you sit another 8 hours, then all that money that you spent driving like a bat out of hell was wasted because you didn't take the first available load. So I share that with you because there are too many vagaries in this business to say, oh, driving 72 guarantees me more loads. You can't know that. You can't know that. There are too many variables. And you yourself are one of those variables. And unless you don't take any time off for an extended period of time, the odds that you're making even a couple thousand extra are pretty slim. And I think you've probably observed this where somebody goes, I've had trucks pass me 3 times in the same day. And I pull into a truck stop at the end of the day, like when I'm driving, by myself. I pull into a truck stop at the end of the day, and who's right in front of me getting fuel? The guy that already passed me 3 times today. Now, how did that happen? Well, maybe he's that guy that when he stops to use the crapper at a truck stop, he always takes 40 minutes. Whereas a guy like me, I try to be really efficient. I'm in and out in 10 minutes, and I got a soda refill. It all comes out in the wash. For all of that speed to really matter, you have to have done everything else right. Otherwise, it's wasted fuel. So I just share that with you. Hopefully everybody's being safe, everybody's doing well. Like I said before, there's no cargo that you can carry that's worth more than your life or even your truck. If you wreck your truck, you get hurt, it's no bueno. Just take it easy, pull over, shut down, and then run hard in May, June, July, August, September. So anyway, be safe out there. We'll check you back in with you, and appreciate everybody tuning in. We're over 800 subscribers. Very cool. I appreciate everybody. So thanks again. Bye.